Guess we can rest a bit.
Não, para fazer evento. Interessante. Mas antes de fazer algo, cadê? Vai fazer o quê? Nossa, mano, que tinha baú que eu nem tinha dado conta que tinha. Quando tinha a missão, não vi que tinha baú aqui. vai dar? Dilema é estamina. Vamos naquele monte. Ué, mas eu que pego a garrafa térmica. Por que não tá funcionando? Ah, cara, por pouco. Tá lá em cima. Não fiz nada, cara. Só perdi tempo. Só perdi tempo. Vou subir essa árvore. Acho que isso aqui é o certo. Me perdi muito tempo a subir na montanha. Olha, a próxima personagem 5 estrelas. A próxima personagem de fogo.
Sister Rosaria! So here you are! Choir practice is about to...
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing.
But
Acho eu.
this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all...
Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the
sei
hopes
se
of
é ela.
others clause in my job description.
I mean...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not...
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right... Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand...
Huh? Well, that can't be. People aren't like that.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too trusting. Don't fret. Nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
Seems like that nun's an expert at making people...
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you...
We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where. And you think I'm...
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was...
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... the honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Well then, otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the nuns of Mondstadt have...
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we?
No.
Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't...
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm.
So, are you also looking...
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be I couldn't care what you think. Come on then.
Nossa, mano, negócio, cara. Não me importa com o que você tem.
They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
Another test.
Ah, mano, vou ser rápido assim, né?
Reveal thyself.
Mano, eu não sei porque que não tá funcionando. Pera. Como é que eu uso? Pra ver onde estão os jogos, animocos. Pronto, agora não sinto calor.
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Let's move. Almost. Have a load of this. Let's end this quickly.
Sai daqui, bicho.
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm alright. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Seems like there's more to being a nun and...
Tudo quatro. Espera aí, missão. O que tá vendo? O que ele tá fazendo uma pintura?
The word on the street is he loves sketching. He'll hang around anywhere. The views and scenery here are pretty good.
But can't he see those? Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them.
Ai, mano.
Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first.
Who are you? Thank the gods I'd already completed my sketch. Would have been ashamed to leave these particular hilly trails unfinished.
What's up with sketching hilly churls? What makes them so
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my sketch, it may give you a clue.
Mano, tem tantos helicurs aí, cara. Só diziam esses aí. Praticamente, né, mano?
Wow! Look at the detail! But
You can find these hilly trails anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into existence, from the...
Hold your horses. Something tells me we found your man. I'm headed back.
what? Don't you have any? What a
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising, but back to the point. From her work...
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental... I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came from a... Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would benefit enormously. Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where
Whoa! You want?
You're right. Giving a for example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have
Cara,
a
reviveu uma
particular seed in
planta
my
morta,
possession.
mano.
The method I'm talking, it's like you, in that it hails from another world, helping it to grow.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not sure we're gonna be much assisted.
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of... But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get this...
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
It's possible. But I will do everything in my control. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going.
Mano, isso não vai dar certo, cara. Olha quem tá aí.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it up. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a
I do worry about the well-being of my retinue during my impromptu...
Preguiça, cara. Tô com uma preguiça de andar.
Paimon has a question. After the seed sprouts...
I don't know. but I feel using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my After awakening, even creation may be possible. Still a little difficult to understand?
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you were saying?
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. I suppose it's one of the few non-alchemy related disciplines I'm any good at. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person, how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got a few questions in that regard. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of that nature.
Mano, que pergunta estranha é essa?
Fascinating. And this floating child is connected to your body in some way?
What a stupid question! Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you.
Peguei a boia numa vara de pescar.
Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder, did Paimon guide the elemental power to you? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springville to flow backwards. No, that definitely can't be it.
Hey! How would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this world. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in their research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answers. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to examine exactly how it manifests externally. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method comes most naturally to you.
Huh? Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple exercise. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
Slimes! Slimes are fine.
Well, prepare yourself. The slimes will be here any moment.
Shadow Raven, let night fall!
I will have order. Gather.
By royal decree!
Solidified.
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, The manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Elemental reactions are normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally, let's test the internal flow.
Internal flow? How do you test that?
It's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness. No bodily injury.
And in the abnormal course of events?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Try not to worry. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved. But if there is anything blocking your elemental flow, we'll be able to locate it with this test. Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad... Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the... It's a type of ore known as star silver. I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some... All going to plan. We should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the campsite.
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns, but it seems like there's a silver line. Let's keep our eyes open.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes.
By royal decree.
This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way.
Let's dance!
This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the while we are... My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on...
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all...
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few
Como é que esse cara fez? voltei.
Consider. You don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes, following this line of thought, I'm sure will...
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting entirely of the element. A cryoregis vine, or even a wildflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, in that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds...
After all, we've got our primary data already. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world...
it would. Apologies. I was... Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time being. If you're keen for an update, just come and...
Great. I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times. And breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Nossa, mano, que saúde.
Look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And this potion channels elemental power into the body under normal circumstances. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the...
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, in conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is
Paimon wanted something...
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of the... The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference. People are the same. They can understand, empathize, encourage. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, but a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregis vine or an eye of the storm. To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you...
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. I'm thinking a lot clearer now. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me. But starting with the premise of an elemental life form? Now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of them.
You can count on me, sir. Alex.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a... what Paimon meant to say what...
Before we can proceed with our research, if you're interested, why not have a look around?
Let's go see him.
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting?
Mano, o cara voltou rápido, hein?
Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can manipulate the elements, but worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even everyone. So, leaving elements to one side. Do you possess any... I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, No. You shan't be Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it.
Vamos tenta.
You think Paimon knows how to do that?
That was your best effort? Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even... I suppose I have a curiosity. Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat?
Cooking? Paimon was looking for...
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with.
Paimon bets you're just... That does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves. Good.
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward to... If there's anything left over.
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try...
That was... An average outcome experimentally, but as far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. See, unless... Could it be that the natural laws of this world are limiting your unique abilities?
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated than adding herbs and spices, you know.
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need to feel disheartened. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole... Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago, but you do have tasty recipes. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good student?
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. Anyway, moving... There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me.
Paimon's barely finished eating!
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace... If you had, say, superpower, like night vision or vibratory... I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking.
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh yeah! You could use elemental side...
Okay.
The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo elemental energy, right? This has gotta be it! Still in one piece! Good thing the vial's so strong. This must be electrohypostasis powder.
Goodness. You managed to... I'm wondering... This elemental sight...
Yep. Guess it does so...
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is seldom seen, it is not only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit.
You mean... we failed?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly In essence, The differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical capability. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jump from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there. So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million fragments? Then could you see her? Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, well, I know of a location that will be perfect for...
Hello? ¿Haciendo un qué? ¿Un qué?
You want us to jump?
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method that it... Whichever method you choose, the experiment will... I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my
The opposite side of the lake. So...
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might... No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, then if you would, please, I...
Wait a minute. While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing... emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. I've never seen a performance quite like it. Your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data shows that...
But you followed us the whole way with...
Me? Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a little.
¿Qué?
But anyway,
Okay, sharing.
if it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect... If the natural laws of Tavad do affect you,
No, tengo que ir en live.
and that would occur under the absence of such effects. The innumerable possibilities that this could present, the captivating insights.
But how does this help your race?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. What I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few old, petrified The essence of the investigative process is enthralling, but I'm willing to pour all my energy into research. And yet, all these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of us.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to sketch those hilly churros? Because...
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these creatures are, for the most part, quite boring.
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be like...
Of course not. You have been of great assistance. Now, before we head back to the... Follow me.
Man, toda mi zona de tende ir por más buena, ¿por qué?
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your trip. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your capability. I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with... There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. After completion, as with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do, a tried and tested So, let's see you in act. It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution.
Ah, tem outro aqui em cima.
Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you. It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out. Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly... What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. There's still a lot to learn about them. And as for why they should ever have let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in great...
Another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolved. Seems like if you want the reward, you got...
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kind of looking forward to seeing the results of all... Unless you can think of anything better to do,
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous...
You!
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed... I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor.
Bem que trazer o código, eu vou ter o código na cabeça. Para.
The code is 2020K.
Espera, mostra.
AP.
Mostra!
AP77. ANNP 9827. É, tem um novo a mais aí. 827. To say.
Comprar o jogo. Comprar o jogo.
Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potions? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive.
Listen, sister. Your guard's so high you can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you into something.
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential
so, what are you gonna do?
I've got to hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous, that's good enough. I've investigated everything else. The only items left on...
But we don't even know what the...
That much is true. But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. Now then, all things considered, I deem... Which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me...
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! So stubborn. Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh.
We should be able to see what's in...
Mano, mas realmente, cara, eles aceitaram tudo assim muito rápido.
You're back. Good timing. I've just... You took quite a while. Did you get held up? Time for the results. We got a myriad of data, but the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is...
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you. Have you ever considered that the world of Tevat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. Under the effects of Tevat's natural... But after I observed you, imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, is not nurturing otherworldly life, also nurture... It would seem that that's as far as we go.
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever. And it...
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived to perfection, is necessarily one So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here, arguably
Things feel a little heavy right now. Don't be sad. Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness, your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was valuable. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your... Well... I made a point throughout of telling him how ordinary the result... But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of if one day I lose control, destroy monsters, can I rely on you to stop?
Nossa, mano. Ah, eu gostei mais ou menos dessa missão lendária.
I created another universe and founded paradise. For I, Fischl, and the Prinzessin der Ver...
Let's see how our fellow explorers are doing.
Agora finalmente o evento, cara. ¿Qué?
Esse é o bagulho que tá em evento?
Are you here to explore the snowy mountain?
You scared me.
But you were just standing over...
Not at all. I was just thinking of a name for a new subspecies of sweet flower I propagated. It has seeds that are 4 times as large as normal. Oh, are you interested? It's a shame. If I wasn't coming to this mountain, I would have brought some samples with me.
Yeah. Weren't you doing research in the city?
Timaeus and I were helping Albedo organize research data. Timaeus just left, in fact.
Sure didn't.
He said that he wasn't as sharp as Albedo when it came to data. The significance of some things Albedo is able to grasp almost immediately. Timaeus seemed rather depressed about the matter. He said he was going to take a walk, so I was originally going to take a look around myself after finishing up here, but unexpectedly, I gleaned some interesting data from these... but, well...
Secrets? Don't have anything on us but that.
Then, could I ask you for a favor?
But isn't he your teacher?
That's true, but I feel like he's always hiding something.
Wait, how are you...
Timaeus and I are both passionate researchers of alchemy. If it was anything else...
You do have a point.
Could you help me investigate what it is that Albedo's hiding?
What do you think?
Yes! Thank you, thank you.
All right. Let's...
Disneyland. Mas fonte tá aqui?
lost?
No, we're not.
A secret?
Hey, what do you do? Our mission calls for a delicate approach. Sure.
Actually, you've arrived at just the right... Here, catch.
Huh? What's this?
As you can see, it is a sword. I did not make the sword. Would you like to try it out? My research indicates that this sword has some... but I need to gather data from it.
Wait a second. How can there be a sword that only one person can use?
Very astute of you. This sword has indeed had a curse. An ordinary person would be unable to wield it.
Huh?
Or perhaps I should say that only you are immune to the... We gain little from saying more. Go find some monster.
O quê? Espera só.
How about those over there?
Paimon still has a bad...
Ah, mano, eles têm 71, cara. Não vou testar.
By royal decree.
Over here! It's with this brat! Give it back, you thief!
Treasure hoarders? There are treasure hoarders?
Enough talk! Hand it over!
Watch out!
So troublesome!
La la la! Ha ha ha!
Order guide you! Gather!
Direct assault! Time for retribution! Want a taste of my hammer?
Suffocate!
Jab and cross!
Wings of darkness. Come, sever night from day.
Suffocate!
That tingle when it hits? Stabilize! Suffocate! I got careless.
Now that's rich! Treasure hoarders?
They certainly arrived quickly. Goodness, no.
They seem to have been talking about this sword.
Why are you looking at me like that? Not long ago, the Knights caught a band of treasure hoarders outside the city. The goods they were smuggling were all... This sword was one of those items. We believed it to be stolen plunder, but no one came to claim it. I noticed that quite sword would see...
You claimed it for yourself? So, then what happened?
Indeed. And I initially intended to perform some experiments on it. This ancient-looking weapon once passed through the hands of a now-deceased...
A magical sword?
It is said that the smith vanished not long after creating the weapon. With the weapon working backwards from its eventual fate as plunder, one can guess that it was then stolen by the treasure hoard.
Blacksmith who made this weapon disappeared? No wonder it's cursed.
Exactly. Do you know the story of Durin in this mountain? Durin was the black dragon who menaced Mondstadt.
Aqui o Dani.
Oi.
Daniel, nem me mandes uma mensagem de Natal, de nada. É assim mesmo, tá bom? Tá bom. É? Nem uma mensagem de Natal, Feliz Natal, dia. Eu levo um sobrinho que não me dá confiança, é você, sabe, né?
Como assim? Não, quando eu meto no meu estado já tá a referir pra todo mundo, pra não ficar toda mandar mensagem um a um. Eu tenho muita gente.
Posso mandar no grupo, nós temos um grupo de família, filho. Eu não vi nenhum estado, não vi no estado, tá vendo?
Você não vê meu estado?
Não, não vi.
Eu vejo de todo mundo, você não vê meu estado. Assim eu sei que tá mal, assim eu sei que tá mal também.
Mas só, Daniel, você manda uma mensagem no grupo, Feliz Natal, família, não sei o que. Agora porque criamos lá outro grupo dos mosquiteiros.
Nós nem conversamos naquele grupo também.
Tá bom. Ainda me dá confiança, eu gosto que me bagunça. Ai, ai. É isso. Epa, tchau então, joga lá.
Ok. Vamos, Rafa.
E até o ano que vem.
Tchau.
After a fierce battle, the snow gathers atop this mountain and never melts, which is a most curious...
Could it really have been intent?
Perhaps this place was chosen as a gravesite precisely so that the snow's power could seal the corrosive toxin coming from Durin's body. It seems plausible that Barbados would think of such a method.
Huh. Was Barbados such...
Well, these are just my postulations. I don't have any evidence. In fact, I believe that the very...
A dragon's remains?
Indeed. The dragon's eyes, claws, and scales ground into dust before being used to coat the blade. In this way, Durin's corruption and venom entered into the... This is very advanced craftsmanship. I presume that having successfully forged the weapon, the smith must have tried... But using the sword in battle would have allowed the corruption to seep. Ordinary mortals cannot withstand such power. The blacksmith must then have fled, driven mad by the curse, before... You've purified the volunteers before. This ability has protected you from being corrupted or poisoned, and which is why you and only you can properly wield this sword.
Still, this sword really... It's glowing!
As far as I'm concerned, This is where the real experiment This sword is still very weak at present. However, it is able to, in some sense. You could even say that it is a living thing. Well then, traveler. Adventure with it to your... I believe that we will soon have all the proof that we need.
Não, ó, Kaká, da gema aí, eu quero saber. Mano, olha o quão rápido eu derroto esse bicho, cara.
Miscalculated. Here comes trouble.
By royal decree.
The loneliness. Frozen. Crisp, you'll get frostbite.
By royal decree.
Freshness preserved.
E aí, Gustavo? Mano, tô feliz aqui, cara. Tô feliz, já comecei a ver o dia. Já comecei a ver o dia, metade dos meus gifts já chegaram. Sim, eu comprei dois, né? Já chegou um. O outro só vai chegar amanhã, porque aconteceu um erro lá. É triste, mas é a vida, né, mano? Melhor que nada, né?
Odds reveal.
I will have order.
Não. Vai faltar 20 euros ainda. É que eu não vou comprar só a edição. É que eu vou comprar um jogo para eu e meu irmão jogarmos junto, a edição e algo aqui pro Genshin Impact. Acho que até já consigo comprar aqui da loja. Deixa eu ver. Bênção da lua nova. Comprar. Já volto. Voltei. Ô, Gustavo, a voz ao... Pera aí. Recebi um comentário aqui. Salve. Kazuko. O... A voz tá alta. Ah, pera, deixa eu ver se consigo aumentar aqui. Mas tá bem melhor que ontem. Gustavo, tá bem melhor que ontem. Pera aí, deixa eu aumentar aqui. Ah, aquilo até o jogo que não estava no jogo antes. Agora que estou no jogo. Agora que eu estou no jogo, tá? Eu estava a fazer algo, estava a comprar a benção da novo. Não, eu tô fazendo live e alguém aqui comentou. Sim. Ah, acho que não vai dar, cara. O meu servidor aqui do Genshin Impact da Europa. Projeto de gente que deu errado. Oh, Blackout, já chegou metade do meu gift card. Já comprei aqui a benção da lua nova. Dessa vez consigo mostrar. Tá aqui. Benção da lua nova, já que 14. Consegui comprar já. Eu não sou teu amor, mano. Eu não sou gay, tá? Eu não sou gay. Sai. Cheguei na oitava animação. Ah. Interessante. Como assim não foi o que eu disse ontem? A outra metade do gift card vai chegar amanhã. E amanhã eu vou comprar a edição. Chora mais. Eu gostava.
You're back.
We've been working on...
Indeed. It is as I thought. This...
I thought that only applied to people.
And that's precisely what makes it... Ah, yes. I should mention a more important matter first. I've investigated the area nearby.
It's not more thieves, is it? That's true.
I believe that these strange traces, whether it be thieves or something else...
Cala sua boca. Mas o cara... Ué... Olha que eu fiz uma summonada no banner do Obed, né? Eu acho que ia ver um personagem. E veio essa arma aqui, espera. Veio... Cadê ela? Veio essa arma. Essa lança. Perdição do dragão. E essa lança que é boa pra Xingling. Peraí. tem uma coisa aqui em cima. Peraí, eu tenho quantas calças dona camisinha? Deixa eu ver. Eu vi isso ontem, porque não me contou. Tá aqui, esse dente que eu falei, esse dente é estranho. Tem um não, calcedônia, carnezinha. Deixa eu achar mais uma upa árvore.
Lots of human activity. Looks like more than one person, too. So they have a camp here. Huh. Here to...
And would be rather convenient to rob adventurers who come up.
It's survival of the fittest here on... All that stealing, though. And still, every last one of them still poor as dirt. Anyone who calls us thieves gets no pity from Paimon.
Who's that? Who are these sniveling sneaks?
Ah! We're busted!
Mas nós chegamos no acampamento deles e nós vamos ter que derrotar eles, mano. Eu não entendi isso.
Fry! Such a pain. Want a taste of my hammer?
Royal decree.
As you wish, mate Fräulein.
Mano, eu ultei sem querer pra trocar por de look.
Two to go. I will have order. Should place my hand.
What are the Fatui doing here?
Fatui,
Those treasure
mano.
hoarders look just as confused as we do, too.
What is this? You can't run. Well. Time to fulfill my duty. Stabilize. No backing off. I see through you. Don't be a killjoy. We've only just begun. My duty.
By royal decree.
You can't run anywhere.
Isso, mano.
Don't be a killjoy. We've only just begun. Get it together. Looks like I...
Ready, steady, go!
Frozen food.
you wish, main
Ah, mas não tem sentido. Troca por Diluc, demônio.
Retribution!
The Fatui. And they chose to attack us within the treasure hoarders camp.
Why would they do that? Did you go rile them up while we weren't looking?
Did you?
Maybe it's something we all did then.
I think the Fatui are looking.
Weren't you keeping the sword super secret?
Perhaps they caught sight of you using it on the mount. If their eyes are any good, they'll definitely have seen how...
They really want everything.
Not quite, no. The Fatui are collecting things related to the Archons.
Huh. Now that you mention it, we did...
Durin is the sworn enemy of the Animo Archon, and had power comparable to his. To say that it could rival the Archons, or was related to them.
So that's how it is.
I made a new discovery while There's an area up ahead that's quite remarkable. Its ley lines flow differently from any other. Nearby monsters have been attracted to it and have fallen under its influence.
That seems convenient. Well, we're here to help this sword grow, aren't we? Might as well go try it out on those monsters.
Precisely my intention. Oh, and do remember to observe how
I'll protect us! By royal
Gather! Order guide you.
odds reveal. So how did it feel?
I have a hypothesis concerning this. Each time this sword absorbs power from the bodies of fallen enemies, it will resonate with Durin's
Holy moly, that sounds
If my theory proves correct, this could mean that all the monsters here... I fear this may have to do with the origin of these monsters' powers. Durin is no ordinary beast. Even though it is long dead, the dragon's mysterious power may itself... We still don't have enough information. If we wish to understand...
Guess story times become work time.
I have some research work that needs settling, so we will have to work separately.
Como é que eu pego esse fragmento?
Reveal thyself.
This is order. Solidify.
By royal decree.
Quake. Crumble.
Peçam.
Nunca cola.